Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
This is Thursday, May 13th. We have a red folder. Looks like the Bank of Canada has some news coming out at 11 o'clock, so we'll pay attention to that. Everything else is pretty much of a non-event. And on Friday at 8:30. A lot of times, the more important news seems to come out at 8:30 for some reason. I think that has a lot to do with coming out an hour before the U.S. market opens up and getting things settled in. You get a lot of the pre-market moves. So on Friday, which I don't usually do a lot of trading, is more of a look and see type of a day. To have some core retail sales. We kind of got whacked a little bit yesterday with the CPI, the Consumer Price Index report. That came out 8:30 yesterday. It was a red folder with the U.S. And we realized after the fact that it really did move a lot of the other currencies at the same time. So remind me next time that when the CPI index report comes out to pay a little bit closer attention to that. I think most of us, some of us made some money, some of us lost some money, but all in fact our stops were there, keep us out of harm's way. I probably would have had a little bit bigger stop, or maybe not have even taken the trade at all, had I known that it was going to be of that magnitude. And let's see, so I'm going to go look to the charts, my chart to determine which currency is stronger, which one's weaker right now. And you can see right now on the US dollar on the 30-minute is kind of right in the middle. I'm not seeing anything real clear and evident that one's stronger than the other across the board. Probably the Swiss, looks like the Swiss is probably having a little bit of a retracement against some of the other, whoever's going against, probably New Zealand. New Zealand was down here earlier, and within the last 15 minutes, it's kind of working its way up the total pole here. So New Zealand's getting stronger on the 5-minute, but I look at that more as being a pullback. You maybe even get a flip and maybe a little stronger pullback, but right now it's still relatively weak on the 30-minute chart. Swiss is relatively strong to the New Zealand. But right now, there's nothing real, what I call real conclusive. So we're just going to keep an eye on that for future reference and see how things go as we progress on today. And see, just not show dates, times, and volumes on side. Could you please help? Some of my charts don't show date, time, and volume on the side. Are you talking about an MT4 platform? Is that what we're talking about? Let me keep that. We'll keep that question up, and we'll see if we can address that after we look through and see what's going on here.
I said yes.
Oh, okay. Let's see. And let's see here. I said I need to change my chart.
CB, were you going to say something?
I was just saying good morning.
Oh, morning.
Good morning, CB. Glad to have you here this morning.
Thanks.
This is we had an alert on the Euro US earlier. I sat down here about 20 minutes after 7, and we had the alert right about this area. It was on a 5-minute chart. One thing I didn't like, well, by the time I saw it, it was all the way up here, and I saw this we had this drop, retest, drop, a little basing right here, big drop, and so I was looking at this zone right here as being a problem. Also, we have the 200 moving average coming down. It came right up to that, was rejected, it came up, now it's starting to break its way through. If it can break through this area, this little blue zone, you probably have enough room to maybe get to where it's going to challenge that. That's only 6 pips to the top of this candle. We're looking at the Euro US. The Euro it's not overly strong. It's not. I'm not overly fond of this trade. I do some Fibonacci's, and I do it from looking how. Actually, I probably should put just up a little bit higher here. Put it up. Here's the main move to the downside. It came down, made up, broke out of it, bounced. I like seeing this little area right here. We have a little, this where he had strong move down, came back out. This looks like almost like a wave 1 of a trend. Here's wave 2. We're coming up on wave 3. I like to see a little bit of a pullback on this up move. You see I have different color moving average or Fibonacci lines. So from here right now is from this move to this move is now retraced to almost the 76%, which is the upper 25% of this move. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant to get into this trade, because if it breaks through the 61% retracement, if it closes above that, it probably come up higher and maybe get a chance to get that 7 pips out of this area. But from this move, from this point to this point, I'd like to see a little bit of retracement down to about the 23 or the 30 with a 38.2 retracement. Primarily, I kind of like this area in here, the 23 to 30. This little area. This is the from this move. This is like a leg of an Elliott. If you look at an Elliott wave theory, this is like the leg 1, leg 2, leg 3. That's usually the longer leg than the leg 1. Leg 3 has got to be longer than leg 1, which it is. Comes back down to form leg 4, and then come up to retest where it could come on up to the higher leg. So I like to, at this point, I want to see a pullback to this little blue zone. If it doesn't cross over where this is where the alert came through, and if we can get maybe a fill in from here, that would give us a little bit more range up to this orange line, which I'd like that a little bit better. But right now it's sort of wicking up right into this area. It's testing it. We'll see if it's going to be able to pull back to get enough steam to make another run at it. So this would be, so this is that leg 1. And come and see, this is where part of that W is starting to form. Here's the first leg down. Here's the first leg of the W. Here's the middle of the W coming back for the second leg. Down to here. This leg needs to be, if you measure this leg 3, which is where we are right now, needs to be longer than leg 1, and it's already there. So that fits with the Elliott wave theory. This is one of the tools in the toolbox. It's just you have a toolbox and you're working on a project. This is our project. And sometimes you go to the toolbox, you get a hammer. Sometimes you get a plier, pair of pliers. Sometimes you get a wrench. We just have Elliott waves, we have Fibonacci's, and we have just basic knowledge about the project we're doing, trying to grab the right tool. So this is kind of what I'm looking at into this area. Could only go up to here. So here would be leg 1, leg 2, leg 3, leg 4 projected, leg 5. Now this one could come all the way down to, if it can get back anywhere near where this arrow alert came in for a pullback or a breakout, then we can maybe take it to the upside. I'd like to see it come back to at least, no, I'd like to see it come back into this blue zone for a pullback. We do have a little bit of a wick right up here on this 5-minute chart. Here's a lower high, here's a high. This is the wick. This is a little bit of a pivot. I like to see this one, this candle close below that pivot, maybe pull back a little bit further, and then maybe try and take an entry into this area to take it on up to the upside. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Right now, I don't think it's quite ready. We could do if the, I'm gonna look and see about the euro. The euro is gaining strength to the dollar, which is a good thing. So if we look at the, let me show this here. It's starting to fit the bill here. As we look at our strength meter, the euro is getting stronger to the dollar, the euro stronger to the dollar, euro stronger to the dollar, not as much over here. So we do want to trade it to the upside. I would just like to see it. If it, do one of two things. You can maybe try and put a buy order in down here, maybe off of this bounce or off of this moving average. We have a little bit of a trend from this low. You can follow the little trend. Here's the anchor. Here's a hit. Comes back down. By the time, if this thing goes sideways and comes back down, it's going to pretty much maybe bounce right off of this trend line. Anywhere inside this blue zone, I'd be okay. Or if it breaks out at the top, if I get a strong candle to close above here, then I might be willing to take it for 5 or 7 pips. I wouldn't go for much more than that. You have about 13 pips to the red zone. That's enough room to the upside. And but I would like to see a little bit of a pullback. And or we can do a buy stop. That's the other thing. How much time do we have here? We have about 13 seconds on. We have about 2 minutes on the 5-minute chart. Let's go to a 1-minute chart. See what that looks like. You can see there's a red zone right there where I drew that blue channel. And we'll see if we can get it closed above this little red line. Then we have a little bit of room to the next one. It'd be a tight 5 or 7 pips, but it might be worth a shot at it. Looks like it has the potential being up to making that happen. So we'll keep an eye on it. And let's see.
How can you, Aman says, yes, it's the MT4 platform.
Okay.
I thought you were finished.
Yeah, no,
When
just jump in when I take a breath, just jump on in.
Oh, Al, you have to let Eva in the room, please.
Oh, okay.
Pull her over as a panelist. Thank you.
There she is. Thank you for letting me know she was there.
Yeah.
She'd be sitting there a long time before I remember to look for her. Okay, so the chart doesn't show dates, times, and volume on the side. Well, you can see the volume right now. On the side, well, the only thing I have on the side of my charts are the prices. On the bottom part, you should have the date and time on the bottom. Now look under properties. Let's see. Well, it should be a default. I don't know how you would not have it on the bottom. I'm not sure how you would get there. Show period separator. It might be in this area. I'll keep an eye on my chart here. I'm not sure. If it's not, if you right click on the chart and go to properties, that's where you're going to find most of your settings for your chart background, and just check to see which one of these. Right now, I've got these two checked. This is all default. I haven't changed anything on this. This is what comes up when you load the program. So to answer your question, I don't know how else to answer the question. I'm not that familiar with some of the intricacies of MT4. Let's see. So kind of keep an eye on that. Let's see. U.S., New Zealand. Now, New Zealand was starting to get strong. Here's an arrow. There's a range, 7 pips. Not enough room to the upside on that one. And let's put a template on to the load the moving averages. Moving averages are not in the right direction here, so yeah, I'll pass on that one. The moving averages are in the correct direction. Did see how we got this little bit of a pullback in here? The green came down, couldn't break through. This is going to be a real telltale. Right now it's pulling back a little bit. Here's our high. It made a little bit lower high. It's pulling back. And so if this thing can come back and retag, this moving average, this arrow moving average, seems to be holding pretty well. We are getting a little bit of a wicks coming down into this yellow moving average. If we get a crossover, we might be just enough to cross over to get us back into this area to maybe get a little bit of a trade coming in. Nice move up. This was a nice pull up. Here's a retracement, nice leg up, retracement. Pull back to it only pulled back to 11% of this move from here to the upside. Actually, you could almost take it from this point right here. This was the next pull back, the next leg, and pull back to 23%. And let's see, we still have strength. Euro strong. I can probably take that trade. what I'm going to do is I'm going to put I'd like to see a close above this trend line right here. Here's our high, here's a low, here's a lower high, here's a higher low. We'll see if it could break through the bottom of this. We'll see if this little point right here holds. And yep, we'll just see how far deep this thing can come down. I think what I'll do is I'll put a buy stop in right about in this area. I might actually take it sooner than that, but let me just get this set up. A buy stop, so it's right there. So that means if it comes back down, if it tests this from here to here, retracement to 23, here's the 38. There's a 23. Here's the 23 to 38% zone of this little move from this strong move up, came back down, retested it. And we'll see what it does here. It is finding some rejection at the top of that. You are getting the cross of this green crossing the yellow. That's only 1 minute. Let's get back to our 5 minute and see what we have. I like this is leg 1, leg 2, leg 3, looking for a little bit of a pullback into this blue zone. It is right in there right now. This green is still fairly far away from the yellow one, so it would have to be a real strong pullback in order for this green line to cross over the yellow. Yellow would have to come up. This would have to cross. This looks like a good area to maybe take this off of this arrow. Let's see if we have 5. We may even have 5 pips till we get to where the target is. There's 3 pips. I'm going to take this. I'll take a shot at this one. Buy. I'll remove this one. This was my pending order. I'm going to cancel that one. And we're going to go for 7 pips. So I'm going to modify this. 15 pip stop, 7 pip target. Here's my target, and you can see if it can break through the top of this, I have my target. I'll be out of it before it hits the top of this zone of the 76%. And my stop is way down here. I can probably move my stop up a little bit to. I can probably move my stop even up a little bit tighter. And move right up to this fib line off this down move. This would be the. This would be the 38%. That's already crossed this one, made up the next one, crossed this one, heading up to this one. We didn't quite get a close above this line, but then once it closes above this one, we should be able to get up to this one. So we'll see. I'll put this back into my profit as points. That way I can see the points here. We also have the points right here. Right now we're only down 2.2 pips. Euro USD, it's you see the spread is very, very tight right now. 0.6, only half a point spread on that, which is excellent. And we'll see what happens as it tries to break through this. If it comes down here a lot closer and tags where the entry was, I'm still okay with that. My stop's still way down below. If it starts closing below here, I may get out of this trade and exit, but right now there's still enough momentum to the upside. I'm looking at this just being a small little pullback. Here's a 38% pullback. And we'll see what happens. And let's see, what else do we have here?
Al, I've been asked if you could analyze Bitcoin when you have a moment.
Okay, let's see, Bitcoin. I'll look at that on the 5-minute chart. Ooh, 49. That really dropped last night. I haven't seen that low in quite a while. Let's go to an hourly chart, see where that. Oh, it dropped.
Oh, wow.
A nice big wick on that. Moving averages. I'll take a look and see what the other current cryptos did. Let's see, templates, load. Right now it's in a downtrend right there on the moving averages on the 1 hour chart. Found some support right here at 45. And I'd be looking at from this high to this low. I can draw a fib on that. I'm not sure how well this holds on Bitcoin. I haven't really done much analysis on Bitcoin other than I just hang on to it. But here's a strong move down. Here's the bottom. It came back up to the 50% retracement of this move. Oh, not quite. Coming back down to retest this 23 to 11 area. So I'd be looking at a trend somewhere in this direction. See if it gets a bounce. If it comes all the way down to retest this zone right here, this might be a good place to maybe expect a bounce off of that. I'm not seeing anything. So let's go to Bitcoin is one of those things. It's so volatile. I prefer to just look at it on a daily chart as opposed to a scalping type of thing. I don't scalp this at all, even a little bit. Let's move this on up here a little bit higher. This is a daily chart. This is the daily range. Had it move up. I tell you, let's try it this way. Let's take it from this way. Since we know it's kind of in an uptrend, this is just a strong pullback. Here's the uptrend. Here's the zone. Here's the uptrend. Came back down. Tested. Came right into the 76. Hit the 76. Could not close below. Came back up. Closed. Couldn't find a close below here either. So right in this area is the 76 to, this is the bottom 25%. Here's the bottom 25% of the range. You can see, you see no candles that close below the 76 line. It bounced some buyers, bounced some buyers. And I say this is probably a good buying opportunity. I wouldn't try and take it short below here. Definitely wouldn't take it short. So that's basically where I'm at. I would be looking at, let's see, we have a trend. Here's your trend line from, here's the, from this zone. There's your trend line from that. It's retesting that, or you could also take it from let's see if I can get my line here. Take it from this one. Come up to where, here was the first bounce right here. Here's where it broke the trend line. Here's the anchor. Here's the, I was looking at this. Basically, I was thinking about this just this morning. We had this trend going on here. And then this was a nice pullback. This was a nice pullback. This was still higher. So right now, you can see the steepness of this from here to here. This trend line is fairly steep. Well, when this one, even though this formed a higher high, a higher low than this one, it's now starting to flatten out the trend line. You can see where now it's not quite. Here it is. This one, this point right here is still higher than this. It's sort of flattening out the trend line. This point now broke this level right here, just barely broke it, but it found some buyers coming in. So again, you're probably still bound within, you're still within the spread difference between the low of this candle and the low of this candle. You can probably just still take it. It's still in an uptrend, but it's starting to flatten out a bit. And now we have a significant high. We have a nice pullback. And now we have a pivot high. So here's our other trend line right through up there. And that's the wedge that's starting to develop. It's starting to trade inside this range right in here. So we'd be looking at maybe buying down here, selling up here if there's enough room, if you want to take the shot at it. You're looking at, it's about $13,302 worth of Bitcoin. 45, actually to 45, let's say 45.7 to 59. So that's 14, almost $15,000 dollars worth of variation in that. I would not expect it to drop much lower. You have a 200 moving average coming in. We did get a nice pullback, but right now from the low here to the high, this is your main trend. Right now from this low to this high, coming back down, is really bouncing right at the 50% of this move, which is where it kind of broke out way back in January. So it's just retracing about 50% of that move and trying to find some support. And it's still, so it'll probably be bouncing around here. If it breaks to the top, it's probably going to go up even higher still. But it's been kind of consolidating for the last couple of days. And that's Bitcoin.
Al, let me ask you another question.
Okay.
Bren was saying that he restarted his VPS because there was an update. Now he said that it's only running like very low and his arrow is not working. He said it's been like this for 3 hours. I recommended that he log a ticket with Auvoria Prime, but I wonder, is there any setting that you can think of that he can check right away that may be impeding this?
Check what he updated it last night or the last couple hours.
He said he restarted his VPS because there was an update. Now for 3 hours, it's been like this. He's updated and restarted his computer and everything, and it's still, he's not getting error alerts, I guess is what the thing. He says it's only running at 447 per 4, what is that, kilobytes or whatever? I'm not sure what that is, but
I would say probably the place to check. I would put I don't know what you could, if you updated it and you reloaded everything, I would probably check with support and explain the problem to them. I'm not sure I can help them out with that.
Yeah.
I reload the VPS, and basically, to do the reloads on these things, you just come over here with the update, click on the update tab, and as you right click, open that up like this. And you did the update, and I might, if it's not updated, see, well, actually, I did mine just I thought I did this one last weekend. This one's saying the update was installed 25. So actually, I could have sworn I updated it. Well, anyway, right now there's still updates. I would usually don't update things until the weekend. If it's, at least it should be relatively close. Mine's been running smoothly, unless there's some glitch in the update. That's a possibility too, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that.
Yeah, I think the best bet is just to log the ticket with the Auvoria Prime.
Yeah, that'd be my suggestion.
Let them help you.
And then just reload your software. If to get everything restarted, rebooted, then reload the software and see if that fixes it.
Because they can actually get in behind the scenes of your VPS and like what's going on with your issue specifically to you. They can have a look and see what's what and let you know what to do.
Yeah. And you can see, like with this move here, right? We had this. So I did take it once it came back down into this. So I was a little more aggressive. I was using this 23 to 38% line right here. This zone, and you see, it actually broke through the 38, tagged this 50%. This is so I actually came back into that 38 to 50% range, which was right in this area right here. 38. Here's the 50. I see with this 50% for the down move is the same as the 50% where I drew this. So that was like a double support area right there. Came right down, tagged it, and now it's coming back up again. And we'll see if it, I did get a little bit earlier entry. I was a little bit, probably a little bit more aggressive. A lot of times, if you ever listen to Jackie, she'll wait till she's at 38% before she even consider it. A lot of times I'll take it anywhere between 23 and the 38%, especially if I feel that the momentum's still to the upside. Right now, if it breaks through this area, I may want to, I'll be looking at this moving average as a support area. But if it breaks through that, I'll probably be out of the trade. And I'll probably get stopped out before then. But right now, my stop is, I'm only looking at a 10 pip stop. So I tighten my stop up a little bit. And still looking at it to be on the upside. Looking at the Euro US, looking to see where the Euro is still strong, US is still weak, Euro is strong, US is weak, Euro is strong. US is kind of in the middle right now. I'd like to see a little bit more of a spread on that. I'll usually like to see a 3-point spread on the 30, but I have a 6-point spread on the 15. I've got a 6-point spread on the 5-minute. And so I'm still okay with this trade. Here's a 15-minute NASDAQ. I'm not going to look at that right now. Let's see if we have British CAD. I prefer to look at the indexes closer to the US market open. Say the clock is still an hour and a half away. Looking at the British CAD, first thing I do, put my template on, load it. And I see my moving averages are consolidating right here. We have a trend coming down, slight trend. It's probably going to be not real conclusive which direction it is. Let's zoom out. Well, we have red zones above, one zone below. Here's our arrow to the downside. Here's our zone. Come back. That was on a 5-minute chart. Let's see what it looks like on a 15. Now on a 15-minute chart, it's on an uptrend. On the 5-minute, it's on a downtrend. So right now, pick your poison. Right now, there's still a lot of consolidation. Moving averages are in the right direction with a little bit of a pullback, but we're right here at the zone. So there's really no trade there. And right now you can see it's sort of range bound. It's just trading in between this red zone. Has been doing that since the middle of yesterday. It came into this zone. And so from, pretty much from, let's see, 15, from about 8:15 yesterday morning until now, it hasn't really broken out of this zone, this range. About 60, so it's trading inside a 64 pip range, which isn't a bad range on a 15-minute, but it is going sideways. It had a strong move down. It broke this pivot. So we have, the one thing about it, when we look at whether it's going uptrend, downtrend, it really depends on what time frame you're on. If you can see from yesterday's move, it was trending down inside let me get this box up here. It was trending in, this was yesterday's range right here. And you can see right now, the range of yesterday's range is inside of yesterday's range. So if you continue coming over here until it breaks to the bottom of this, it's still still range bound. Now this is the bottom of the range. So there's a good chance it could come up and retest the high. And you could almost even draw a Fibonacci retracement from this high, yesterday's high, to yesterday's low, and see where if you can see what the moving averages can turn around to retest the upper part of this, the upper 25%. So here's the lower 25% of the range. Here's the upper 25% of the range. And this is really what I call the playground. If it breaks out of here, it's probably going to come up to this area. If it comes up here, it's probably going to, but this is going to be the middle. If it breaks through here, I would be looking at target right about there. That's 31 pip target. That's plenty of room for a target on this chart. Go down to a lower time frame. You still have the same, everything's still there. Now you have a bounce, came back up, strong move down, retraced. Now we have the arrow. I kind of like this thing, but you have this 200 moving average. So if it can break out of this zone, I'd be looking at maybe coming up and retesting here. And that would be a nice little trade to the upside, but we need to get the British pound strong to the Canadian dollar. And if you look here, right now, they're both pretty much at the bottom, both at the bottom. British and Canadian, they're still pretty much, there's no real clear direction on either one of those. So I would stay away from that for now, but keep an eye on that one. How's my trade doing? I'm down 3 pips.
Now, when you have a moment, can you just, the moving averages that you have on your chart, can you just show the group how they can make changes to that or remove it altogether off their charts?
Sure. Go click on your chart, anywhere in the chart, right click, go to objects list. And the objects list will have, excuse me, the moving averages we're talking about. The moving averages are on an other index. So index list, indicator list, and you have all your moving averages, and you can click on that and you can just delete it. Find out which one you have here. Like this is a 200, you click OK. So I know that's a 200. If I want to delete the 200, I click on delete and it's gone. If I want to click on this one, edit it, see which one it is. It's my 5. And I can click on it and it's gone.
Or you can click on edit and you can change it to whatever color.
Or you click on edit and you can change it to a different, you can put it back, you can change this to whatever color you want, whatever. If you want to put the 200 back on, you can just put that on, change the color, and make your changes that way. But basically it's just under the right click, indicator list, and then you can make your changes over here. Click on what you want and then edit it. Just like that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at this NASDAQ, see what's happening here. 15-minute chart, NASDAQ. Don't know which way the markets are going to go today, but one thing I usually look at with the indexes, like the U.S. index, is if the dollar is weak, I would look at the market being strong. If the dollar is strong, I look at the market being weak. Come over here and see which way the dollar is. Right now, the dollar is weak. Dollar is kind of in the middle. On the higher time frame, the dollar is getting a little bit stronger. No real clear decision on that. If we look at a zone to the top, I'm looking at, here's a nice move down, came back up, retested this area. So here's where the price started, came back down, retested it, came back down further, right in this area. See all these little wicks right in here. I'd be drawing a area from these wicks. I'd just be spotting that right there, like that. Because here's where the sellers came in to drive it down. Right now, the buyers are coming in. They'll probably run into some sellers right here. Not a lot of, we have some short wicks here, but here's a wick, come over. Here's another wick, come back over, come over. Another wick. So right in this area, you kind of have a little bit of a level on a level. Let's see, where's my... So right here, this is where this age right at the top of that, and see where all these wicks are. Here's the body. This is another wick. So right here is another kind of a level on a level. So I would expect that it could come on up. If it gets into this area, you're probably going to find some sellers here. If there's any sellers still sitting here, they'll start driving it back down. If the sellers are saying, well, this thing's coming back up, I'm going to wait to come up here, you may see more of them up in this area. Trying to get those few extra pips. If I go to a 5-minute chart, you'll probably find some zones right there. And you see the zone right here where it's at right now. You see the ones that I drew. Here's the ones that it's kind of struggling to get through right now. Here's a green zone. So here's a move down. It bounced, kind of retested this area. We have the arrow right in there. This is on the 5-minute arrow. Not a real clean back entry. It should have bounced. Well, it kind of almost didn't quite come back into the green zone before we got the arrow. And actually, the arrow been. Yes, CB.
Hey, I take when you're done with the NAS here, take a look at the Kiwi CAD pair.
Kiwi CAD.
There was an arrow on the M5, but and you know it's counter trend, but I'm just sort of looking at the chart. It sure looks like we might be at the beginning of a new market maker cycle. It's been going down for so long. It's just an interesting.
Down, came back up, pulled out of this, hit the zone, pulled out of the zone, retested. So here's the retest right through there.
See that W?
Yep, here's the W right here.
Go
Here's
go
the
go out
like,
go out a lot. You'll see what it's been doing for the last few days or whatnot. It's been really
it's kind of range bound here. Popped up there, and so this is the Fibonacci range from that I would be looking at to the downside. Let's see what they have here for the let's put moving averages on. Yeah, this one have some potential here. Let's see what did the analysis on this and see what we have.
if you scale way back, you'll see that it's been on a downtrend big time for a while. I just sort of
yeah, well, that
yeah.
sure has.
It just
Yeah.
looks like it might be time for it to move. You know, that W might represent the beginning of a upward market maker cycle.
Yeah, could very well be. Could very well be. Strong move down. This is we're on a that's a 5 minute. Let's go to 15 minute. That should be about
Yes,
the same
15
thing.
is pretty similar. That support down there looks pretty strong. You know, it's been
This one
bouncing
here.
off that for a little bit.
Well, the figure there was nothing that was developed, or if it was, if we had any support over here, this move took it all out. It could have been some all the way over to the left. This whole move took all that out, created a new zone right there at the bottom. Yeah, this looks like this could be a nice little move to the upside once it gets ready. We have all these moving average, all the moving averages right here, are all in the right position. I'd be looking at this right now as being a problem area. This one's still pointing down strong. I would expect it to come on up and tag that, come back down, retest.
Yeah, I'm not going to get in it yet, but it's just an interesting one to keep an eye on, I think.
Yeah. This first leg of the W, come back up. You can see where this area right here, we had a close above this little zone. This is a strong move down, bounced, came back up, kind of played around down here, made a new high. This is significant, comes back down.
Really, really tight range. If you look back, you know, it looks like there's a lot of upward mobility for it.
Yeah. If you looking at this whole thing from the higher time frame, if I like this move here. Here's a drop. Here's a little basing drop. I would expect it to retest this area right in here. So I'm going to draw a rectangle from drop. So this is a little bit. This is what I talk about when we talk about the Fibonacci retracements. If you take this move, draw Fibonacci to this point, and see this retracement, this is going to be a really very narrow retracement. It's not going to be 38%, I don't think. From here to here, see that where it came right up to the 23% of this big move. That's a strong move. And then it comes, if you get a strong move where it only comes back 23%, strong move down, pulls back 23%, you're probably going to get a one-to-one retracement and on this. And so I'd be looking at from like the distance from here to here, and then take this and move it from here to here. You can see you have the one-to-one all the way down. In fact, there's a little bit more than one-to-one. So after you get that strong move down, retracement, strong move down, the retest is going to be right up here in this 23 to, well, now if you take it from this area, move this all the way down to the bottom, now you can see this area, now this is coming into the 50, 61% retracement. This moving average is below that. So it's probably going to come on up. It came up to the 23. It made a low, came up to 23%. It's still hanging into this lower 23% area. Once it can break through this, then we can start taking a Fibonacci to the upside. I like to see it break the 23. Once it breaks the 23 on such a big move down like that, then I'll draw a Fibonacci from here to somewhere it is on the 23. I'll change the color on this. And now once it crosses that, now as it comes back up, I'm going to be looking for retracements back off of this move to the 23 to 38%. So let's say just on this, and we can almost even look at it from this area right here. It hasn't broken the 23% yet. Let's say it comes on up, and let's say it comes up to this point. Let's say we have a nice move up to that point. I'll be looking, it crosses over the 23%, which is this area this area right in here. Once it breaks out of this area and our price comes up and breaks out of that, it comes up. Now I'm looking for a retracement down to somewhere between, let's see if I can draw it again. Let's see if overlay it. Not sure how well this is going to work. Then I'd be looking at this little area right in here for the pullback. This is all projection here. Now the area come pull back, and then I'll be looking at the next target being this area or this one. As this thing starts breaking through these levels from the downside levels, it starts breaking through those. You'll start getting up, but come back down. That's where it starts trending on up until it gets to the 61 or the 78%. And then I'd say that move is over and it's starting to go flat again to the upside. But I want to see a break through this 25% area right here. Until then, it's just going sideways. And this, you can see it's been going sideways from the low, yesterday's low. It hasn't broken out. This was today's move, and it's still within this 25% area. Take us to a 1 minute chart. You may be able to see it a little bit easier. So if I can find my Fibonacci. I really don't like, I like using, I prefer to take this one from over here. Ooh. So take it from that low, wait for it to cross over outside of this zone. Now let's see how big this zone is here. This one's actually probably fairly, that's 30 pips. I mean, it's, as long as it's right now it's going sideways inside this 25% area, and you can maybe, you can find some wedges along in here if you want to be, kind of looking for some scalping type of scenario. We have a trend here coming on down. Here's the anchor. Here's a hit. Couldn't quite make it up there. Pull back down. Here's a hit. Pull back, rejected. Now it broke through the top of this. You can almost look at. It's still kind of range bound, but it's looking a little better. We have a little bit of a zone right here. This is the red zone. It's got to get through that. If it can get through that, this is the next stop. But you'll be looking, I'm looking to see where these were the areas, these Fibonacci levels on the down move. Now I'm just looking to see as it comes back through, starts chugging its way back up, and then it'll probably come back and retrace it once again. But this is the area that you can maybe catch a few pips. Again, it's not really clear until it gets out of this this area right here where the 23% is. You can see if I can make that a little bit bigger. This is the area that I'm looking at for the most part, that one right there. And it did kind of break that. Now I'm looking for retracements. We have a trend line from here. You can see where the trend line is. Here's the low. Here's the first hit. Here's our trend line. It's still kind of playing inside this area. Here's a stronger move up. Here's the first retracement. We can probably move this over. Here's the retracement right there. Here's the hit. Here's the anchor. Strong move up, came back, retraced. Here's the hit. Strong move up. Here's the trend line. And you can just start following this thing now. As it goes up, look for the pullbacks. Here's my 23. Here's the move up. Here's the pullback, 23.38. Nice little wick right in there. pull back, and it's probably going to go up higher. If it pulls back to the 38 off of this move, 38 would target would be. Now, if I pull this up here down to this one where it bounced, now it's pulled back to the 38 to 50. And so then the target on this would be the 0 line and then the 38 to 50 up here. And looking at the New Zealand CAD, see what kind of a trend it is, see which one's strong, which one's weak. New Zealand strong, CAD's pretty much right there. New Zealand strong, CAD's right there. See, there's no real clear definition as far as the direction of this on that trade. So we're just going to kind of keep watching. I like to see a little bit clearer close. I do like the fact that the CAD starts getting strong, or the New Zealand starts getting strong to the Canadian dollar, then you have, so I'd like to see that the strength of the Canadian or the New Zealand a little bit stronger, or the Canadian being weaker. And then you have some room to the upside for a few pips, but you're on a pretty low time frame right here. That's on a 1 minute. But that's kind of what we're looking at with that little technical analysis. Anything else going on here? The S&P, that's probably going to be much the same type of scenario on this. Move it up. Any question? Let me check the question answer box, see if there's anything there.
We got a few questions for you, actually.
Oh, no, let's take a look at some of the questions here while we're waiting.
Okay.
Let's see.
Do you want to read through them yourself?
I'll read through them. I'll say, how about the U.S. yen that will continue up or goes down after a big move yesterday? Well, my crystal ball is a little foggy. I never quite know what it's going to do, because whatever I think it's going to do is probably going to do something differently. But I just let the charts kind of tell me on what it is and what time frame I'm looking at. Again, what's going sideways on one was trending on another. What's going sideways on one time frame is trending on another time frame. Right now, I just look at this on a 15-minute. It tells this way. This one that was trending, higher lows, strong move up. Now I look at it going sideways. But if you look at this thing going sideways, if you draw an area between here and here, that's sideways to me. But inside the sideways, if you pull it down to a 1 minute chart inside those zones, probably still going sideways here. You can see here between, it's getting tighter and tighter, but this was actually a little bit of a trend, but it's still going sideways inside a larger sideways zone. So you just have to decide which time frame you want. Quite frankly, I like sideways motion. You're going to get more, prices go sideways more than they trend. But inside those higher time frame sideways motions, there's some scalping that you can grab with the trend. This one's still really tight right here. There's like 10 pips. It's been like 10 pips for the last, let's see how many, last 55 minutes. Looks like it's been 10 pips. Not a big move. So to answer your question, which way is it going to go? I have no idea. What's the difference between exponential and simple? The exponential moving average, basically with the simple moving averages, they go back X amount of candles, or let's just say a 10 period, and just taking the high and low over a period of time. With the exponential, it starts dropping off the earlier prices and puts more emphasis on the latter prices. So basically, it's a little bit. It's putting more. The exponential is putting more emphasis on the later candles of the price range as opposed to the entire price range or number of candles you're looking at for the reference. Can you please share how I have 4 charts to check the strength of the currencies? Rajiv, do you have the trading view? If you have trading view, and if you only have the free version, you're only going to get 1 chart. You have to go pay for the I think it's the pro version will get you 4 charts that you can do it. So that's
He does have TradingView. He said, he just mentioned in the chat.
yeah. Do you have the free version? Or do you have a paid version?
Well, it works on the free version as well.
Well, but you can only yeah, the paid version. Okay, let me see what I can do for you then. The free version only gives you 1 chart. The paid
Oh,
version
okay.
is, if you come over here to where your little select the layout, click the layout, and then I usually have, like in this one, I have the layout where I have 4 charts in the quadrants like that. Just click on that one. If my other charts usually I only have 3. Now we click on that one, you only get the 3 charts. Go back up here, click on the 4, and then you just take each chart and put the time frame on that you want. As you click on the chart and it just adjusts the time frame. Like there, I went from an hour to a 30-minute. It's propagating. Takes a little while sometimes for it to come up. I'll go back to my hour. It should come up. There it goes. But that's how you do it. Just that little thing up here says select the layout, and then just put on how many charts you want. That should answer that question. Sell limit on GU around 1.405.
Al, before you finish with this, can you show them how to actually expand the box that the RCS is in?
If you
know what I mean? Like it's showing on a chart, but he wants to know
like,
how to.
So like this type of thing. So if you have, with the trading view, if you just click on where the indicator is, just left click twice, click, it just pulls up that indicator. So you just see the whole box is just the indicator. Or you can do it where you can just take this and drag it on up. I usually like to do is usually what I'll do is I'll drag it up and I'll just, because usually I'm just looking at this. Now, if you have a chart, for example, like on here, I have my RCS tool down here, so I'll just keep it down. And you can scroll it on up or down, wherever you want. But if I just want to see just my chart, just left click on my chart and all my indicators go away and I'm just looking at just my chart. And I'll do that a lot of times. And if I want to see my indicators, I left click again twice and my indicators pop up. And this is the RCS tool. This is the RCS tool with just this pair, the British pound and Australian dollars. I'm just looking at just those 2 pairs against each other. Yes.
Rajiv, do you actually have access to this RCS tool?
I do.
No, not you, Rajiv.
Oh,
asking him.
I think Rajiv does. I think Rajiv has it.
Okay, he does.
Yeah, I thought he did. With TradingView, like I said, you can get a free version of TradingView, and you can it only allows you to run, I think, 3 indicators. So if you have the free version, you could run this thing on 1 chart, and you'd be able to put. And right now I've got just the symbols, but I can put all of them on the bottom here. I just like to look at whatever pair I'm using. You can adjust it to where you just see the symbols reference to each other. And so like right now I can be looking at like the pound Australian dollar. And I see right now my spread is about 3 in favor of the Australian. The British pound is the purple one. The Australian is the green one. So there again, I want to be trading this thing to the strength of the Australian dollar, which means I'd be looking to go short with it because this is the second currency of this pair. Hopefully that answers your question, Rajiv. Let's see, playing a sell limit on the British US around 140. What do I think? British USD. Oh, British USD. 15. I'll start with a 15-minute chart. Ooh, we had the announcement. It was 8:30. What time is it? 8:32. Yep. There was an announcement, and did I get stopped out again because of an announcement? Let me see. Or did I get a target? Yep, made the target. All right, the announcement got my target filled on that one, Euro USD. I think we did say we had some announcements today at 8:30, I think we said. Where was that? Red folder at 11 o'clock. So that was a little bit early for PPI USD 8:30. We had some announcement. Unemployment claims, not red, but it was an orange folder at 8:30. I don't watch those announcements. But a lot of times, just trade, if you keep your stops out of harm's way, a lot of times those announcements aren't that violent that it stops you out. Sometimes it works in your favor. They just drives it to your profit margin. Let's see where we have British USD we're looking at. So the question was a sell limit. That means you want it to get up to 1.4051. Well, let me see. Let me get this up here. Load. Uh, 1.4051. So let me draw a line. 1.40. 4051. There's where you want to sell it. Okay, let's see. We are in a downtrend. Everything's in the right direction. We are getting the greens coming up. It is trying to cross it. In fact, it is on this 15-minute chart. It is crossing, which means I'll bet it's probably already crossed on the 5-minute. And we had, here's where you want to be getting in. Here's our 5-minute 200 moving average. Not a bad place to put it for a short. On the 5-minute chart, we'll scroll out to see where our zones are. We do have more red zones to the green zones, so we are wanting to go short. That's not a bad thing. Let's put this on to the downside. Here's our zone. Let me make this thing big. And now we're going to make the assessment. Where's this thing headed? What's it doing? Let me zoom out a little bit. I'm going to go to back to the 15-minute chart and see where the trends are here. So nice move down, came back. Here's the retrace. Look here's where I'm saying here's the strong move down. I like this move. I like this retracement. I'm going to measure that. I'm going to come over here from where this top arrow is, come on down to the bottom and see where it retraced. You can see this thing, if I can get to the bottom. Right about there. Spread this out a little bit. Here's the bottom. So you can see here's the retracement, 23%. It came up right between the 23 and 39%. Show the shape. I'm gonna mark this area right in here. That's off of this down move. Now I'm going to change the color of this down move because this is my bigger move. So I'm going to change the color of this if I can. And change this to the orange. I like the orange for the larger move. So it came back up. Here's the zone. So from this, it came into the 23%. I would be looking at an extension to the 23%, and here's the extension right here. So this strong move came down, came up 23%. Then if it breaks through the 0, which is now this, well, actually that's where your entry was, so just something different. It came up, retraced, broke through here. The next target would be down here at 23, and you can see where it came right down into the 23% target. Can't make this stuff up. That was your target zone right in there. Once it came up here and broke, and once it cleared this was your target. So now it kind of came down. Now you're looking at a retracement. So here's the question. Now you wanted to put a sell limit in up here. Right now it's in a downtrend. This is not a bad area. You may want to, I would be this, you're given it plenty of room. I kind of, if I were to take this on down here, I'd be looking for a little deeper retracement. So I think you're in a good zone right here between 38 and 23 now. Here's the strong move down, coming back up. Here's your 23, here's your 38. Let's move this down to this region right here. And that's where your sell limit is, right into that area. You have it right about in the middle. Not bad. It's right here at the moving average. I think that's a good spot to try and take this thing short, because I do think, and I wouldn't be going for a whole lot. If you do get filled here, you've got 41 pips to the downside. That's pretty substantial. Nice to be a nice little trade. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for it, actually. You're still in a downtrend. Your stop, I would like to think that your stop is going to be above this moving average. Probably, I would have my stop up in this area, since this is the place where the price was last tested before the next move down. So you're probably you may find some more sellers. If it gets back up to where this area right in here, you may find some more sellers up in this area. And this is right where your zone is. So you're getting, this is a little bit of an early lead to this. You've got 7 pips, not bad. You have a nice barrier here. If your stop is I'd keep your stop above. I'd probably put my stop right in the middle of that. So that would still give you, that's a 30 pip stop on that. But if you're also looking for a bigger move down too. So it depends if you're swing trading this or if you're trying to scalp trade it. But either way, it's this area is not a bad place for an entry from a swing trading standpoint. We have this move here. This was the last move up. Here's the came down. Let's see. I would probably take it from here. This one. So right now it's testing the 78% of this strong move down. Now it's testing the 78% area in here. It will probably come down and retest this zone right in down here, I would expect. It's probably not done. It's starting to be a little bit of a bounce out of here, coming back up. It'll probably, I would not be surprised to see it retest this area right in here. With this lower 25%. Here's the upper 25% of this move. Here's the lower 25%. You're trying to grab it right here. If your stop's on the other side, you should be okay. If not, you're not going to be risking too much, and you have a lot of room to the downside. If you get filled here, you have lots of room to the downside, and you're still in a downtrend. You're getting a little bit of a crossover, just no matter how deep it's going to go to the retracement. I'd say as long as it can stay, if it gets up into the 78%, you may want to even take another position. But I say that's an okay trade. That's an okay trade. Hopefully that answers your question. German 30. Let's take a look at that one. That's one of my favorite indexes to trade. How are we doing on time? We have about 10 minutes left. German 30, 15-minute chart. Let's see, we have a crossover of the moving average. We're coming strong move down. Came down, base, strong move down, coming back to retest this base right here. Template, my moving averages on here. This one you got to be real careful. It can be rather expensive. I don't trade this thing with a whole lot of pips. Usually, if I trade this, I'm usually at a 0.03 or 0.05, 0.03. That's about as much as I would want to trade this one with. And that's with a $3,000 account. Right now, the moving averages are starting to cross over to the upside. The green is leading everything, but it's coming right up into the 200. And you got a little zone right here. I kind of like this as a from here, from this point down to the bottom. And now we're looking at here's the upper 25%. Here's my upper 25. Right now I'm seeing that it's range bound between this red zone and the green zone. It's range bound going sideways, but it's trending inside of that sideways range. And so that's what I was trying to talk about, where you see it trending, but it's still range bound. Here's the lower 25%. Let's see. And it does seem like it's making, if you look and see where the prices were from the last couple of days, here's our money zone range right here. This was the money zone for, let's see, today's Thursday, Wednesday, this was Tuesday. The money zone for yesterday was in this area. And if you look at these two, you can see that this high and this low, this is inside of this one. So this is significant. This high is significant right here. This low is significant. And you see all day yesterday, it was trading sideways, trending in a variety of different times, but it's still staying inside this. In fact, it made a lower high and a higher low. Now we have today's range. And you see right now, this low got broken overnight and it bounced off of this zone. This high has not been broken and hasn't been tested yet. And that's what it's doing right now. It's testing this, the range of Wednesday's range is testing, right now it's back into the middle, but it's going to be probably testing this upper range. So right now, no direction, nothing but you're trying to get a feel for how's this thing trading right now. Has strong move to the upside, but it's coming right up into this upper 25%. You could almost even take it to the money zone, the high of the money zone yesterday. You could almost take it to that. Can't really see where the wicks are. Must be in there someplace. Let's take it to the wick. That's what I can see. Now, 15-minute chart, go to a 5-minute and see what kind of price action we have. Strong move up. We had the cross. Everything's moving in the right direction, although these moving averages are still below the 200. So I would expect to come up here. I would expect to bounce. So from that point, if it gets up into, it's crossing over the 61% retracement of the down move, have a little bit of a pivot right here. This thing could start to move to the downside again. So it could be range making lower highs and it could be making higher lows. We have a little trend. This little pullback here, another little pullback, connect the dots. It's respecting this moving average. I'd like to see it come back down, maybe retest an area. So from this area, nice move up, base, here's where it started. Let's take a Fibonacci from here to here, or higher, depending where it stops. And I'll be looking for pullbacks. Change my color. Dash the lines. Now, wherever this thing stops, here's a little pivot high. So that's as high as it goes. Now I'm looking for a pullback again to the 23 to 38. Here's my 23 years. So this is this range right here. If it can pull back into this zone or lower, try and respect this. This is whether that was your entry, I believe. You look for a sell limit. Oh, this is German 30. Never mind, that's something else. Let me get this one out of the way. Fibonacci back. Here's my up move, looking for pullbacks. Here's my start of this move. Here's the anchor. Here's the first hit. I'll take it from the anchor, take it on up. Here's my pullback zone. If it can pull back into this zone, into an uptrend, then I may be willing to take it for a long up to maybe that area right in here. But right now, I'm not going to try and jump on board until I know where this thing stops and pulls back. I want to see at least a 23% pullback with an uptrend to maybe take the trade to the upside. Any other questions? Can I look at the British CAD for 4 hours short? You guys are killing me. 4 hours short, British CAD. Let's get to a 4-hour chart. Short. All right, we have lots of red, couple green. Find out where our moving averages are. And everything seems, we have the purple, 62, arrow, 13. We had the 5 crossed over, and looking for this thing, we have a down arrow, not too bad, I'll mark that. Here's the arrow, here's the bounce arrow. Still kind of, it's, so from a 4-hour chart, so here's our move up. And so I'm going to put a Fibonacci on this one. Take it from here to there. Here's a pullback off the down move. Let's see. Let's see where the strength of the British and CAD is on there. Let's check out our chart here. British CAD pretty much middle. No real clear definition on the direction on that one. Came back down, broke through here, and I would expect it to maybe come back down into the lower 25%. I'm assuming you're looking for, if you're looking at 4-hour charts, I'm assuming you're looking at a swing trade on this. Here's our 25% zone. Lots of room to the downside. If we can get, I would check the lower time frame so I can see where it is on a 15-minute. Strong move down, pulled back. Yeah, I say for a short, it could work out for a short. And if you're going to be patient, you got a zone right here. Strong move down, pull back. Let's see what the fibs look like on this one. Came back, tested it, pulled back down, retested to the, from this move down, it retraced 50% of the one, which is 38% of the other one. Yeah, this thing could go, I would say, at the 50%. So we'd be looking at possibly, if it can break through this zone, we'd be looking at a target of, let's see, 50 to 61, 50 to 61 to be down right about in this area. Then you have another little, it's nice when you get these little zones to overlap at a certain point. This is a key point of to the one Fibonacci. This is a key point of the other. They see that right at the same point. That's probably a significant factor. From a short side, I say, yeah, I would, right now we have a strong move down. We have a little bit of a wedge developing here. If it can break through the bottom of this wedge, from here to here, if it can break through that, it will probably, if it can break, come down, come back up, retest the wedge, then you could probably go down to from here to down to that area. So yeah, for a short, I say it's okay for a short. It's not ready yet, but it's there. Any other questions?
There's a question in the chat. Can you have a look at the S&P on the 15?
S&P on the 15. S&P on the 15. S&P. Getting ready for the market to open. Let's see here. We still have another 30 minutes, but this could be the pre-market move. Let's see what we got. First off, moving averages. Load. And it looks like it's still on a downtrend with a pullback. Here's a strong move down. Here's a little pullback. Came back down, retest. It's retesting this area right now. If it goes up, this thing could very well come up, retest that, and still come. Right now, it's S&P's been kind of funny these last couple of days. It's been kind of all over the place. If you're trying to scalp it, you could get your clock handed to you. But here's a, let's see, let me just span this out here. Here's the move down, here's the pullback. So what I'm going to draw from here. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Draw from there. If I see this, here's a little bit of a trend going on up here. I'm gonna look and see where did it reject the last trend. We had actually probably was up a little. Let me see if I can screw this in a little bit tighter. I'm gonna take it from this point right here. Here's an anchor, here's a near hit, here's the hit, and then the trend. So I'm going to take it from this point right here for the Fibonacci. I can find it. Yeah, so we're going to take it right. Well, actually, I'm going to take it from this one. This was the last hit. Well, kind of based, little trend. This is sort of the origin of where that move came down from. So take it from there to here. And this is subjective. You could take it from any one of those places. I kind of like the last point before the big hurrah, so to speak. Came back down, retraced. I'm looking for my 23 to 38%. You can see this is right where, from here, it retraced again into that 23 to 38%. So I'm gonna mark that zone right. Here's the low. Here's where it retraced. New day right in here. And that's right where it is right now. Now the question is going to be: it's found its little happy place right now. Is it going to break up and retrace through the? If it breaks through this 38, then I'm going to be looking at it to go from the 38. I'm going to be looking at it to go from the 38. If it closes above the 38, I'm going to be looking for a target of the 50. If it comes up and closes above the 50 and pulls back, and we'd be looking for a target at the 61. So in other words, I'm looking at this thing to come on up here, pull back. It went between the 38 and 50. It'll pull back. It may pull back into the zone. It's going to be looking at a target up here. If it breaks above and closes above that, then I'm going to be looking for another pullback. And I'll do this 3 times. From there, I'm going to look for a pullback into here. It may even come back down, retest this area. And then I'd be looking for if it closed above here, I'd be looking for a pullback. If it closed above, I'm looking for this to be the next target. And then I'd be looking at a move from here. And if it breaks that, then once it gets between that 61 and 76, That's to be about the end of the line for me, and then I'd be looking for the reversal to the downside. Once it gets up into
Hey,
this
Al.
upper 25%, yes, CB.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I'm sorry jumping on S&P. The pound Kiwi is pretty interesting on the 5 and 15 minute.
Okay, let's take a look at that real
It's
quick.
a counter trend trade, but I know we're running out of time, and I just wanted you to take a peek at it.
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure if anybody's doing the 12 o'clock, the 9 to 12 today or not in the other room. They've been having a hard time finding people to fill those spots.
There's about 20 pips to the 200 moving average right
this kind of looks like a bank conduction, doesn't it? This
Tempted
here. Here's the, yeah, see, this is the arrows. Here's the arrow entry on that one, 15 minute. Yeah, this might be a little trade here. So the fact that I'm not sure anybody's going to be doing the 12 o'clock, we can go here a little bit longer and see what's happening. So here's a down arrow. Here's the came up.
I just jumped into this one.
Did you? Okay. Yeah, it looks like it's certainly has room to the downside from here to the zone. Ooh, lots of room to the downside. Any other little zones in between? Pounds, Kiwi. And let's just check one more thing here.
If you bring up the 200 moving average.
Kiwi strong, pound. Yep, I like this one.
Yeah.
This could be a good call. Thanks for bringing this one to our attention here real quick. And let's see where the moving averages are. I just don't want to rush it too much, but I don't want to dawdle.
Yeah, the moving average, there's 20 pips.
Yeah.
There's 20 pips to the 200. That's where I put
Yep, I think we're going to take that one to a sell. We'll jump into that one. And so a sell, and actually you can look at a target on this one. I'll put my initial target and stops in. There's 15, there's 7. Boom. My target go all the way down here. I'll just put it down there for right now. I'll give it a little bit of room, see if we can get a little bit more room out of that. That's on a 5-minute chart. That's not a lot of, let me move this thing up a little bit higher. I like to keep it above. I'll keep it above that area right there, just to give me enough room to breathe a little bit. And I'll keep an eye on this. Yep, I like this one. We'll see what it does. We have all the moving averages in the right direction on the 5. They're all in. Now we are looking at a possible bounce off of this one right here. So we have to kind of keep our eyes peeled to that one. But even if it did get a bounce from, why can't where's my cursor here? What happened to my cursor? From here to here, that's still 20 pips to the downside here. A lot of downward pressure. This is a nice little move. Here's our move up. This is our range. And here's our, see it came up, played around, broke out of the 20%. Here's our move down. This is our first leg down. Comes back down, it'll probably grab that. Do have a little bit of a trend. Here's a little, now here's a high, here's a low, here's a lower, higher low, lower high, here's our wedge right in here. Kind of broke out of that wedge area. Here's our trend line. There's the high, lower high. Here's our low, higher low. There's the break right where they got the arrow. There's the break, arrow, bounce, arrow, go. Looking for a target down here. I would expect to bounce off the 76. Here's the lower 25% of this zone right here. So tell you what, I'm just going to move this thing back up to about there to here. Just be look for it.
Yeah, that's where I'm
expecting. I would expect it's going to bounce off of this 76%, or it may penetrate it a little bit, but I'll be out of the trade by that time. And let's see. See what happens. Keep an eye on this one. Nice little trade. This could be a nice little trade. But again, I'm looking at the Fibonacci's. Here's my lower 25%. Now, a lot of times you'll see, I mean, I look at the 25%, but you can almost break that down. I've got this 88 sitting here as well. Which is basically the halfway point. So if it comes back down, if it breaks, if it could very well get a wick all the way down here, which is going to be retesting this low, but you'll be pretty well sure of getting the bounce. But you got this target right down here. But for those who are just looking at strictly the bag target areas, I would expect a bounce here, but this thing could still be a nice target all the way to the downside. It started to, we had the consolidate, came up, everything's in the right direction, starting to consolidate, a little bit of a whipsaw here. It kind of it came up into the upper 25% area of this move. Here's the upper 25%. You can see what the price action did in that. Kind of came up, came back out. Here's the retest. Here's your M. Retest, and now it broke. And now it's coming on down to retest this zone. And we'll see what happens. If I look and see where the British New Zealand is, as long as I have a nice 3-point spread on the, if I have a 3-point spread on the 30, here's New Zealand, here's the British, nice spread here. There's a 7, there's a 1, there's a 6-point spread on the 30 minute. New Zealand, British, 6-point spread on that one, 6-point spread there, 7-point spread there. There's no reason to think this thing's, our target's not going to be hit. It's a 15-minute chart. Let's go to a 5-minute, see if there's any little zones pesky little zones in the way. So far, no. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. There may be one little zone right in there. No, that's still clean. Let's just give it time to, you can probably move your stop a little bit tighter. Right now it's following these moving averages. You can see the yellow is still being respected. The green's not crossing the yellow. Came back down again, spreading out. May get another little retest of that, but right now the yellow has been wicked up here. Ideally, you're looking at the arrow moving average as being the strongest support. You could probably keep your zone, your stop above the 62 and be fine for this trade. I'm just going to keep mine. I'll move mine down a little bit here, top of that zone. I like having a zone, and the 200 moving average. I like having the space there. Especially while I'm sitting here watching trades. And generally, I won't leave now until this trade's done. If I did a set and forget, I would probably move my stop down here and then just let it run. Nice call, CB.
That's what I'm here for. See if it works out.
And it could take us, right now we're on a 1 minute chart. So if you can figure what this move was from here to here, that was 11 minutes to go 17 pips. It could be another 10 minutes. We should, with the same price movement, most of that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 minutes to go. It took 5 minutes to go make this move. It's basing a little bit. So here's a drop, basing a little bit, and it'll probably drop a little bit deeper still.
The Al, the Kiwi CAD really looking at before had a buy arrow. It still hasn't broken through that resistance zone we were talking about, but it's getting close. It just set a new high for the day.
Was it 5 minute, you say? What time frame was that?
15 minute, either 5 or 15, but yeah, Kiwi CAD 15 minute.
Short?
Looks like we're literally just about breaking through. Not US CAD.
Oh, Kiwi
CAD.
The other Kiwi CAD. Kiwi CAD 15 minutes. There we go. Okay, here we go. Keep an eye on our trade there. I'd hate to see that one not materialize. I'm going to keep an eye on the bottom here. So we have this one. Slide this over.
That's still a US CAD.
Good grief. How am I doing that? That's twice in a row I did that. Kiwi. CAD. Let's try that.
There you go.
There we go.
It just wicked out a little bit though. It's definitely bouncing off that resistance. I was hoping it would break through sitting there, but yep.
Yeah. Oh, nice move down. I bet
Price
this is
alert set.
I'm guessing this thing is breaking through from this move. Let me get my moving averages in here.
Yeah, the moving averages are starting to go in the right direction for us. So
yep, they are. Everything's all set except for the 200. So here's my range I'm looking at. I'm going to be looking at this range right here to the down move. Now the question is,
you can use the 200 as your TP. We can break it.
Yep, that would be my take profit. Here's the down move. It broke out of this area here. It broke out of the 25%. Here's the 25%. So I'm going to mark that shape. So here's my lower 25%.
You can see it wicked out right at the same place it did earlier in the money zone there.
And so here's the 30 roughly. Here's the 50. Here's the 61. And here's the 20. We have the 23 is right here at this blue zone. And we're going to take the upper 25%. Shape. Here's the upper 25 right in here. You can see that zone is above where my 200 moving average is. So I'm going to change these FIBs now. Objects. Take my fib lines off. So I already had my down move marked. Now it broke out the 25. This is the 25% range. Now I'm going to start looking at pullbacks from here. So from here to here. Now I'm looking for the pullback to my. It broke through the 25%, so it's on its way back up again. We're just going to make that assumption. And so here's I'm on a 15-minute chart. Let me just put it on 5 minutes so we can see this a little bit better, see a little bit clearer, see what kind of range we have in between these zones. So here's the high. Here's the 23 to 38%. I'm going to mark that. Here's my 23, 38. If it pulls back into that, you can see I've got this moving average sitting right in the zone. If I can get this thing to pull back to the 23%, then I've got room to the upside. Right now, we had to close above this. I think that was this is the, let's see, this would have been the 38%. No, this would be the 61% retracement, 50, here's the 38. So right now it closed above this one. I'm waiting for a pullback into this blue zone. Into here. And then I'm looking for this to be the next target. Now if I can get it from here to here, see how much room we have. We've got 15 pips. That works pretty well for me. So right now I'm looking for it to come back down pull back, retest the yellow line, have the green one come back down, test the yellow line, but not cross the yellow line, and then move to the upside. This would be a target. This would kind of be a target shoot. Maybe put like a buy limit right in here. I could do that trade, a buy limit right there. I have a buy limit. So if it pulls back into that area, I'll be in and see what happens there. Here's this one's coming in. We've got 6 pips, 20, I've got 6 pips. It's still heading on. It's bouncing off of that. Let's check this out here. This is the trade that we're in. Didn't hit my target yet. If I was only going for 5 or 7 pips, I would have been out of it by now. We're gonna go for a little bit more on this one. Let's see if we just get to the target. I haven't quite gotten to the point where I'm willing to give up profit nor to for pullbacks, and I still have a habit of getting stopped out after being up 5 or 7 pips, and it goes back and stops me out. That doesn't set very well with me. So right now we have a buy limit here. So that means if it pulls back to here, I'm going to be into it with a buy. Now the spread's got to cross. You see this red line and the white line, that's our spread. So this red line's got to come all the way back down to where my entry is to be able to get filled. And then I'll get to the upside. I like the fact that it closed above this yellow line right here on the 5-minute chart. 1 minute, I'm not quite as happy with. 5 minute, I kind of like that. We have a little bit of a wick up here. We still have room to the upside. It's still 9 pips. But if it could, this is the 61%. Here's the 50%. Here's the, and you're looking at the zones between these 2 points. You may wonder why I use 7 pips a lot of times. So a lot of times these zones are going to give you like 9 plus a spread or 5 plus a spread. These are basically 9 pip. That's 9 pips from there. 9 pips from, that's about 10 pips, 11 pips to there. And usually the moves that we make, usually 5 to 7 pips is usually a good area to work with. This one's still respecting on this on our trade, still respecting it. And if right now with the lot size that I have, I'm already at my 2% for the day, or my 1% for the day. I'm at 10 pips now. 5 pips would be 1%, 10 pips would be 2%. And we're just going for that 2% for the day, and then I'm done. I already had one trade earlier.
Yeah, I just jumped out with 15 pips.
Yeah, here's 12. I'm about, there's 40. I'm going to just take it out there. It's getting near the end of my trading day. I'm already past my point, and so that one's good. That was a win. And now we're still waiting for the pullback, but it may or may not happen. I may pull that trade just because right now I just made my profit for the day. It's been a good day. Take my profits here. Here's this for the day. I had 2 trades, I think, maybe 3. I had 2 trades, $66 on a $3,600 account. So that's roughly 2%. I'm done. Don't have to play anymore. And with that, any other questions before we wrap this thing up? Let's see. Well, we appreciate everybody here. We appreciate all your comments. We appreciate your input. We hope that we're teaching you something, so that giving you tools to, we're teaching you how to fish, and so you can become fishermen on your own. Like I said, we use a lot of different tools. We use a lot of different methods in here. Like I said, I have Fibonacci's as a tool. I've got moving average as a tool. I've got the arrow alerts as a tool. And basically, we get the alerts. That kind of brings us to the charts. We have the that RCS tool, or we call it Hercules now. We use that for which direction to maybe be taken, and we just go for five to 7 pips. And like I said, if with the tighter stops and larger lot sizes, you can get that without having to spend a lot of time with the charts. Right now, I'm done trading for the day. I don't have to think about it anymore. I will be on the road this afternoon. I will be back on the computer, on the laptop tomorrow morning. Everything goes as planned. And but I will be here tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I probably will not be doing much trading for the week because I've more than reached my weekly goal. But we'll be here, and we can do some more question and answers. We can maybe go into some other off topic a little bit to answer some questions of platform questions or anything that's trading related. We're happy to do so. So with that in mind, thanks again for being here. Appreciate every one of you. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow. Stay safe.
Thanks, Al.
All right. Thanks, CB.
Thanks,
Thanks for your
Al.
help.
Thanks,
Good call,
CB.
Good call,
Bye,
CB.
guys. Have a
Thanks,
great
Eva.
day.
Thanks.
Thanks, Eva.
You got it. Thank you.